Sarah Walker is doing her best to eat healthy.
Sweet potato chips.
But in this cost of living crisis, it's not easy.
We rarely eat meat, and fruit and vegetables is very dependent on what we get from food relief.
Last year, the 51-year-old mother was diagnosed with malnutrition. She didn't have enough money to pay her bills, so was trying to save money by eating cheap, processed food and skipping meals so her family had enough to eat.
I think what food insecurity means is poor nutrition. Nutritious food costs more than crap food does. It's a lot cheaper to buy 2-minute noodles than it is to buy fruit and veg.
Sarah is just one of millions of Australians suffering from food insecurity.
We think that 1 in 4 families are suffering from food insecurity in Australia.
Data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics shows the cost of food has been rising faster than almost every other part of the household budget, increasing by almost 8% in the past year. And that rise is having a significant impact. A recent survey found 1 in 10 pregnant women is going hungry. A separate study found 1 in 2 households with children couldn't afford all the food they need. Researchers have to rely on this patchwork of private studies because, unlike other governments, Australia doesn't regularly collect data on household food security.
This is definitely a hidden problem in Australia. If you don't measure it, you can't mend it.
The most recent food security data from the ABS is more than a decade old.
In the US, for example, they monitor food insecurity every year. In Canada, it's every 2nd year.
Dietitians say national leadership is needed so all Australians can get the food they need.
So at the moment we don't have a national nutrition policy. The policy that we do have is 30 years old.
If we had a national food and nutrition policy, what we could do is actually link up food systems with health systems.
The Department of Health says the National Food and Nutrition Policy, which was published in 1992, is currently being updated and should be completed next year. It also says it's working on a policy document to address food security in priority populations by 2030. Sarah says change needs to come much sooner.
People in this country are starving.
Do you want to put that one in there?
Sarah started her own charity to feed families in her area, but says grassroots organisations won't solve the problem.
We shouldn't be having third world conditions in a country that's as rich as Australia.
A plea for help to tackle a severe problem. Lincoln Rothel, ABC News, Elizabeth.